Getting high ticket clients is simple if you have the right tool to do so. And in this video, I'm going to explain the top 11 methods that coaches, consultants, and call sellers use in order to bring them in. And I'm also going to show you exactly how much each one of those methods made me out of the 221K that we made in the last 185 days. I'm going to rank each method on simplicity, on conversion likelihood, and trust factor so that you have the best toolkit possible to bring in as many clients as you want. So the first method you have is the follow message. This is where you introduce yourself to every single person who follows you and give them the opportunity to become part of your sales pipeline. Occasionally this may burn the lead and it does require manual send. However, it begins the conversion of anyone who joins your ecosystem. And it's great because it's not quite a direct sell. It is simple because all you have to do is just message someone. The conversion likelihood is medium because at the end of the day, some people will just be following you because they're interested in your story. But the trust factor is high because it feels super personal and it's a great way to just begin a conversation. And that is why it has made us 50K literally by sending that message. And it is definitely something that works well. It's not a money magnet because of the fact that you waste your time with some conversations, but it definitely is something that has worked very, very well for us. The second tool you have in your toolkit for high ticket clients is your YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, where I post twice every single day, has been a game changer. It is trust building. It builds so much authority that you can speak for 20 to 30 minutes about a given topic, and it is incredible for bringing clients. Yes, it is slow moving. Yes, there is a large time investment, but YouTube is an absolute game changer in the high ticket space. In terms of simplicity, is not the easiest thing in the world. It definitely requires some effort to make 10, 15, 20-minute videos, but the conversion likelihood is so high and the trust factor is through the roof. Because if you can speak on a subject that your ICP wants to know about for 15 to 20 minutes, the likelihood of conversion and the trust built is incredible. And that's why I say that every single bit of the 221K that we made has come from YouTube, because I know that every single one of my clients has watched at least 2 of my YouTube videos, which is why I think it's an absolute money magnet and a no-brainer to get involved in. And the third conversion tool we have is cold outbound, because you can send personalized messages to people, introducing yourself to them, you can compliment them, and it's a great way to bring people into your ecosystem. The one thing I love is that you know that you'll get to a point where when you send 100 messages, you might get 2 or 3 sales. Then you know that if you then send 100 messages every day, you are guaranteed 2 or 3 sales. And it's also a great long-term play. The only problem is it has a low hit rate. You have to send thousands of messages to bring in a good amount of clients, and trust is low because you are introducing yourself to other people as opposed to them optionally becoming part of your ecosystem. And so cold outbound is great in terms of simplicity because all you need to do is send a message, but the conversion likelihood is fairly low. You have to send hundreds of messages to get positive replies, and the trust factor is low because it's very clear that you're trying to sell someone, and it's very hard to build that trust because you've made the first engagement. It is great in terms of a beginner, and at the start of building my offer, it did make us some good money because of the fact that I was bringing people into my audience, but now it's something that I very rarely do. At the start, it's something that is definitely worth a try, but as you build and scale your offer, you want to be moving more towards these trust building exercises and not something that requires you having to reach out to people who are cold. Conversion tool number 4 is short form video, getting hundreds of thousands of views and reminding people that you exist day in, day out. It's great at getting eyeballs and it's great at constantly nurturing people and building a community. However, the problem with short form is it builds a low amount of trust. And also the biggest problem of them all is you can accidentally go viral and bring in tens or hundreds of thousands of people into your audience that are never actually going to buy from you. I know friends who have ruined their whole accounts by going viral on short form video and actually damaging their long-term business prospects. Short form is a funny one because in terms of simplicity, it can be simple, but also people really overcomplicate it. Its conversion likelihood is medium because at the same time, someone doesn't really get to know you that well, and you can't really convince someone you know what you're talking about in just a 60-second reel. And that is because the trust factor is also something that is not there. You don't build a lot of trust by seeing someone for 60 60 to 15 seconds every other few days. However, having said all that, I started all of my business off short form, and I was helping people with the short form, and every single person who's bought from me first saw me or at least came through my Instagram audience. And that is why I do have to say it is something that works very well. Would I go for YouTube first? Of course, but short form is something that I don't think you can ignore because it gets you those eyeballs in the first place and acts as a sort of trailer that then allows you to watch the full movie, or allows your prospects to watch the full movie, which is YouTube. So it's something that I would say works well, but it's not on the same level as the YouTube money magnet. Method number 5 for bringing in high ticket clients is building your course. No, I'm just joking. No one ever brought in high ticket clients by building resource and module after module. I built all of my course material after bringing in clients after clients after clients to then understand exactly what they need to make the best course possible, which is tailored to the clients I already have. So please do not get stuck building your resources and your courses before you've brought in loads of clients. Number one mistake that I see people making over and over again is trying to build their whole course before they've got any goddamn clients. And as you might have guessed, building your course to bring in clients is not a simple way to bring in clients. It has got a 0 conversion likelihood, and the trust factor is negative because there is no people who are actually coming to look to buy from you because you have to have clients in the first place. So building your course is something you should not bother doing if you are looking to bring in clients. My God, I say that a lot. And method number 6 for bringing high-tech clients is Instagram stories. These are the best conversion mechanism out there on Instagram. They brought in 85% of my revenue because of the fact they allow for semi-hand raises. They allow for people to vote on polls, to ask you questions. They bring people into DMs that can then be set into your sales cycle. And it's also a great way to show testimonials. There is a balance between overselling and providing values on your stories, but you can use them as a great way to do both, provide value and also speak to the most engaged within your audience. And so Instagram stories, in terms of simplicity, are fairly easy because all you need to do is put up a photo with a bit of text. However, there is an element where you need a skill, and people often say, you know, I'm highly skilled at Instagram stories, and it's something that you need to perfect in terms of how to hook people, how to give value and keep them staying on your stories, and then also how to suck them into your sales ecosystem. However, the conversion likelihood is very high, and it's a great way to build trust because it does give that personal feel. And 187 out of that 221k has come directly off Instagram stories. So it is something that I highly recommend, and it is why I call it an absolute money magnet. And it's the second biggest thing that I focus on after YouTube. Method number 7 is network. This involves using people you know who know other people who know other people to bring in clients for you. There's a large amount of trust in your network, which is why it's good, and it's also a great way to start off your offer. But the problem is it can be challenging to close, and it's also quite hard to scale as well. The simplicity is easy. You already have their phone numbers, or they already interact with you a lot on social media. The conversion likelihood is very high, and the trust factor is there. The only reason why I say this is not an absolute money magnet is because it made us 39k, which was great at the start of the business. However, it's not scalable, and at the start it's brilliant, but after a while you'll find that your network is burnt and you need to start turning to these money magnets. So that is why it works very well, especially at the start of your offer, because of how high this trust factor is. But it's not something I would recommend as a money magnet because of the fact that it's definitely something that is not scalable. Method number 8 for high ticket clients is ads. The good thing about ads is you can work out, if you spend $1, how much you actually make off it, which means it's very scalable. And the thing about that is it's trackable as well. You can work out where people are coming from, what people like and what people don't like, so you can double down on the things that make you money. And that is less apparent in organic content, where it's a lot harder to work out where people have come from. The first problem is that it is costly, especially as a beginner. You need 3 to 4 to 5k to close your eyes and just spend on ads to test out exactly what works. And it's also a bit salesy. It removes this kind of organic feel around your personal brand, and it shows that you have a product that you are trying to sell to people, which is fine, but it can cause some hate, some negative comments, and people to feel less organically trusting of you. And in terms of where I'd rank ads, simplicity is not great because you have to understand the ads manager. Then you also have to understand testing and also combine loads of different hooks and bodies together to find a winning formula. The conversion likelihood is okay. It depends if you find a winning ad or not. And the trust factor is quite low because of the fact that people know you're trying to sell to them because you're running an ad. It's definitely something that I'm moving into now, but we've made this whole 221K exclusively from organic, which is why I've ranked it there. Method number 9 is newsletters, because people like Matt Gray, Ali Abdaal, and Chris Williamson want to own their own audience, and they also want to make sure that people in their audience have a high chance of seeing their content. They don't want to wait for YouTube or Meta to be able to tell their audience when they've posted. The problem with this is you need a large audience, and it's also lower down the funnel. You need a lot of people to already be nurtured to then sign up for your email list to then want to receive your emails. Where I'd rank newsletters is slightly controversial, because in terms of conversion likelihood, trust factor, I think it's up there because you're already conversing with a highly engaged part of your audience. And yes, it is fairly simple because all you have to do is actually just send a bit of text to your audience who already have signed up. But the biggest thing right now is it's most likely that you're watching this right now with a small audience. And in terms of the funnel right now, the newsletter is about here, and you're probably not getting enough eyeballs up here to justify people coming to this part of your audience. And that is why I rank newsletters as hit or miss, because people that I just showed you have hundreds of thousands of people who their newsletters are delivered to. But it's most likely right now that you do not have an audience size big enough to justify pumping out a newsletter, and you need to work on YouTube, Instagram stories, new follow messages, short form in order to actually build that trust and that conversion. Method number 10 for bringing in high ticket clients is DM conversations. The great thing about this is it brings in a human element, and it allows you to qualify and nurture people over time. One thing about it is it's not scalable. You also need to bring in a setter, and you might have a lot of DMs where people and leads get lost. And in terms of where I rank DM conversations, simplicity of DM conversations is great because all you are doing is just talking to another human being. The conversion likelihood is medium because you will be wasting your time with a lot of people. However, when you have good conversations with people, it's a great way to convert them. And the trust factor is there because you are nurturing them, you are talking to them, you're being a human being, which is so important. And that is why DM conversations and setting people has made us 102K, because of the fact that we are just being humans. And that is why I believe it is an absolute money magnet, and it's something you should be doing, is just having conversation after conversation after conversation. And the reason you'll see why these numbers add up to more than 221 is DM conversations are a great way to combine with other things like YouTube, like short form, like Instagram stories, but they are an important, in fact critical piece of the client high ticket conversion puzzle. And that's why I absolutely love them. Method number 11 is the free audit call. And I do this regularly because of the fact that it's legit. I jump on a 15-minute call with people and provide them loads of value. And it's also a great way to use some long-term nurturing. The problem is it does need qualification at scale if you have a large audience, and you can also get a lot of not serious prospects who just want to take your free value and aren't ever serious of actually working with you. And in terms of where I rank free audit calls, I love them because they're super simple. You just put up an Instagram story or a LinkedIn post saying, I'm happy to offer anyone value. The conversion likelihood is high because you're getting someone onto a call where you can provide knowledge and value to someone, and the trust is incredible as well. And we have made 25K from our free audit calls, but in terms of ease and simplicity, they are great, and they're definitely something that I would say work well, and I've got my clients a lot of amazing results. And number 12, which is a bonus method which I wanted to include, is the keyword funnel. Having it in your bio or in your description for someone to just say a keyword to start working with you. The great thing is it's such a direct funnel, and it allows people who are highly warm to just begin the sales process. It does rely on good content and a lot of nurturing before this, and also sometimes it can bring in time wasters who just want to funnel hack you, or people who think they're ready to go and are not actually worth your time. And in terms of the bio keyword that has made us 50K, the simplicity is great because all you have to do is literally put a line into your bio or your description. The conversion likelihood is great because people are super warm, and the trust factor is already there because of the fact that people are literally asking to work with you. That is why the bio keyword is great. And that is why I call it an absolute money magnet, and it's something you can't sleep on. And so they are the 12 methods methods that I have seen coaches and consultants use to bring in high ticket products. That is how we've made 220K in the last 185 days. And if you're interested into how this whole system fits together and how I combine all these methods together, then you can watch the video just above here and also get an understanding of how the system looks in its entirety. Thanks very much for watching.